This one's a doozy. Karoline Leavitt has a nephew, and that nephew has a friend, and that friend has a mom, and that mom has a brother, and that brother goes to a coffee shop where the barista has a cousin who got arrested by ICE. No, that's not what happened. Her nephew's mom. So Karoline Leavitt, her brother, has a baby mama. I still haven't gotten word back on if that's an in or out phrase, but baby mama, who is a dreamer, so came to the United States, undocumented immigrant, but was 6 years old. So it's like that wasn't her choice, and now she's been here her whole life. And that person got arrested. Karoline Leavitt slammed by nephew's family for ignoring ICE arrests. Let's look at this. Karoline Leavitt's nephew's mother has been detained by U.S. immigration agents as a part of Trump's administration's immigration crackdown. The Boston area resident migrated with her family to U.S. from Brazil as a child, so a dreamer, is now in custody at an immigration and customs enforcement facility in Louisiana. This is just crazy. The White House press secretary's brother, Michael Leavitt, had a relationship with her, and they had a son, Michael Leavitt Jr., aged 11. So this is his mom. His mom. I guess, is it Fiera? Was leaving her home to pick up her son from school in New Hampshire when her car was suddenly swarmed. These videos that we've seen, and they were not the most gentle with her. I'm sure my sister was terrified, frantic. She's been here since she was 6 years old. She's more American than she is anything else. I'm sure she tried to just use whatever she could come up with in the moment. However, it didn't really help much. And then a White House source familiar with the situation says the individual is the mother of Karoline's nephew, and they have not spoken in many years. The child has lived full-time in New Hampshire with his father since he was born, never resided with his mother. And then there's conflicting reports on that. But so I'll read a little bit more here. But this is truly stunning and then weird, the reaction that we've seen, that a lot of the defenders of Leavitt or White House spokespeople, as you saw there, are going, well, Leavitt didn't really know her that well. It's like, okay, well, that's not really the point. The point is, wow, look at even 2 degrees of separation, or you could say 1. Her brother's son, small. Okay, wait. Her brother's baby mama. That's 2. Let's say 2. To the press secretary. And what a significant event. Now, they're arguing, I guess the DHS are arguing. So what's so outrageous about this is when someone's 6 years old and they're brought by their parents to the United States and they grow up here, now she's well into her adulthood, it seems insane, which is why we talk about dreamers, people who came here, no fault of their own, when they were a child, to send them to a country they haven't lived in since they were not even developing memories or barely any. Whatever, I don't know when you start developing memories, but I went really young. Everything they know is here. And ever since they've become an American, but then they, because of a choice by their parents, would be sent to Brazil. What? They're arguing that she has a criminal record, which obviously is going to then serve an argument more, but I don't know the specifics of it. They said she was previously arrested for battery. I don't know what situation there, but again, just the closeness to Leavitt. And then, because I don't know a ton about this particular case, but what we do know is if you look at the data, you remember when people who wanted to rationalize what Trump's policies were said, no, it's just there's a bunch of violent, illegal criminals pouring into the country, right? Real dangerous people, gang members. They're coming from jails. They're coming from insane asylums. No. You remember that whole thing? Insane asylum. It's like a mental institution, but worse. If you know that rant. And in reality, they care more about numbers than actually prioritizing the correct things with their immigration enforcement. So you can see here, only 5% of individuals booked in ICE detention had a violent criminal conviction this fiscal year. and then no conviction at all, 73%. Point is what I've been telling you, which is instead of allocating resources towards going after people who actually would be bad to be in communities, they're just trying to get large raw numbers, and they're tearing apart in the process communities. And that doesn't make any coherent sense for safety, for community cohesion, for anything. Economic reasons, humane reasons. Do you want to know one little thing about Karoline Leavitt? Do you, Jaden? Should I? I forgot this. This is a total random point. I just saw this article. Karoline Leavitt admits her family had a hard time accepting 32-year age gap with husband Nicholas. And I just had a little bit of a thought, which is, hey, to each their own, right? I believe that. I think. As long as they're all, adults and adult. Not like, adult. And it sounds like she was an adult when they met. And we can go, what? What do you relate on? But you never know. Love is love. I don't know. Or not. Then, and I think that her husband's like the age of her parents. Okay, whoa. Maybe he could be friends with them. And then, but if you look at this photo, you see they have a baby. That baby is closer in age to Karoline Leavitt than Leavitt is to her husband. Because she's, I think, 28. There is a smaller age gap between her and her baby than her and her husband, which is fine. Again, as long as we're all adults. But I just thought that was an interesting mental exercise. When he was 32, put it back up, she was younger than that baby. Just a thought experiment. I'm just saying it's a thought experiment. Just it's fun trivia. Leavitt trivia. Meanwhile, Trump and his wife, who he has a big age gap with, which again, you just don't know in this crazy world what's going to make people love each other. Trump was pardoning the Thanksgiving turkey.
By unconditionally pardoned.
Yeah. So there's this tradition where the president pardons a turkey or two and says you're not going to get eaten, which is fine. It's fun, whatever. But Trump, as always, made it bizarre like this.
These are two of the largest turkeys ever presented to an American president, over 50 pounds each. It's the largest.
Like, why do you need that? Watch the way he talks. I think I heard Seth Meyers make this point. Watch the way he talks about the turkey like they're going to eat it. But the whole point is that you're not eating it. So how big and healthy it is, how yummy it would be, is not relevant to you because you're not supposed to eat it. I'm afraid he pardoned it and then he took that thing behind the White House and ate it.
Ever presented to an American president, over 50 pounds each. It's the largest we've ever had. And those are big turkeys. Are they as good as the normal sized turkey? Better or as good?
No, you're not eating it.
Do they tend to be a little fatty maybe? No, he said no. He knows the turkey business. Anyway, despite their size, Secretary Kennedy has formally certified that these are the first ever Maha turkeys. I don't know if I agree with that. These are Maha. In other words, they could be fat, but they're still Maha. They've been fattened on a steady diet of grass, beef, to allow the smoothies and all of the other things that they've been eating for this occasion. This was a really big occasion, but they've eaten every fattening food that you can eat. We wanted to really make them special, and they really are. They're like record-setting. I've never seen a turkey that big before.
Why are you talking about how fatty they would be when you're specifically not supposed to eat them? I think he's about to go and eat the turkey. Did you Google? Do they eat beef?
They do.
Turkeys eat beef? I don't believe you. Do turkeys eat beef? Turkeys eat beef. Yes, turkeys will eat beef because they're omnivores and eat both plant. Okay, all right. I didn't know that. Do they drink smoothies? Because he said smoothies. What about that? Do they drink smoothies? I never pictured a turkey eating beef. Like a good cheeseburger? Do they eat cheeseburgers? Where do they stand on cheeseburgers? Are they Whataburger or McDonald's people? turkeys. And during a time like this, going into the holidays, prices are going to be forefront. Here is Fox trying to sugarcoat the lies, but they don't call it that. Alternative numbers, I think, or something like that they call it, that Trump has been touting.
Yeah, always better to me to drive than to fly, Sandra. But, gas prices. Well, what about that one behind me? Yeah, that's the most expensive gas in the state of Pennsylvania. $4.09 the average gallon, right? You're about $1 more than the national average. And, people have conflicting views about gas prices. The administration says it's lower than it was. Others say it's higher. Well, the reality is, well, you see it right there. It's pretty much the same as it was last month, last year, $3.05.
Did you hear that? They have conflicting views. Or Trump has been saying that gas prices are getting down to $2. Did he say $2? I think at one point they're about to get to $2 a gallon. And then he's been saying they've plummeted. Last time we checked, as compared to a year ago, they were 1 cent lower. So like flat. And energy across the board otherwise is up. Household electricity up. But he wanted us to cheer for him because it was essentially flat. And now, last year, it's exactly flat. So that's not an accomplishment, is it? Unbelievable. And then you have Fox having to report on the energy that I just referred to.
And for people now, if you look at the latest energy inflation data, this is September inflation data, you can see energy going up, electricity going up, gasoline a little bit down, gas service up. And if you look at the average gas price, these are two different things to look at, but steady from 1 year ago, it's about roughly the same, $3.07, $3.06. I guess my question is, will people feel a different energy cost?
So Trump's been lying when he says energy has plummeted. That's the takeaway from that. And then watch one of his advisors trying to spin this. Ugh.
Favorite moments on a Sunday show for me last week was on one of the Sunday shows. You can look it up. I won't attack the poor fellow that was the anchor. He criticized the fact that Walmart said that the Thanksgiving dinner is cheaper by, I think it was about $10 for a typical Thanksgiving dinner. And then he said, oh, yeah, but they substituted generic stuff, as if like having a generic something is a crime for ordinary folks. It shows how out of touch these people are. I get generics
so
all the
silly.
time. I just say it.
So
Guys, I've never seen a more stupider talking point. He's like, I just love this. They don't understand. They thought generic. Oh, they're out of touch. Sorry that your charcuterie board can't have special cheese. Let me remind you. Jaden, what else changed about the Walmart Thanksgiving meal?
It got a lot smaller.
Yeah, it wasn't just that they switched out name brand with generics or something like that. But they took a bunch of the stuff out of the basket or the package or whatever it is. There's this Thanksgiving bundle. And they took a bunch of the stuff out. So it was a much reduced meal, which then made it cheaper. Of course, because it had a bunch of less stuff. If you made it all the same stuff, it'd be much more expensive than it was last Thanksgiving. Oh. And then he acts like it was the other people who were being crazy on this. Not so fast. We got you.